In a very confusing and underwhelming first season for the newly formed duo of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, the Bucks finished with 49 wins, good enough for the third seed in the Eastern Conference, and ended up being dispatched of by the Indiana Pacers in 6 games while both of their stars were hurt. What's next for the Milwaukee Bucks? Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Last year in the playoffs, they lost to the Pacers in 6 games, but honestly, looking deeper into that series, I think it's very impressive and promising that they won those 6 games. First of all, Giannis played 0 games in the playoffs. He came in with an injury. He ended up not playing a single game in that playoff run, and Damian Lillard also only played 4 of the 6 games. So being that your stars were either completely hurt or hobbled and playing the entire time, and you still end up winning 6 games and putting up a really good fight against the Indiana Pacers, who end up making the Eastern Conference Finals, I think if Giannis and Dame are healthy, this playoff run looks completely different, and maybe the outlook on this team and their season also looks completely different if they're just healthy. To make that argument even stronger, they got some really good performances out of their guys as well. Damian Lillard, 24 points on 35% from the field is his regular season numbers, and he upped that to 31 points on 41% from 3, and that's not even where it ends. Chris Middleton, 15 points and 5 rebounds in the regular season, ups it to 24 and 9 rebounds in the playoffs, and also had some crazy heroics in game 3, hitting clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. Bobby Portis, 13 points and 7 rebounds, ups it to 16 points and 11 rebounds, averaging a double-double in the series. And Brook Lopez ups his points from 12 in the regular season to 17 on 43% from 3. So all of their guys stepped up huge in the series. They had their moments. So if you add a superstar player at the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is a best player in the league type of level, I'm convinced that they win the series quite easily. Actually, if they lost in 6 games, I'm sure they could win in 5 or 6 with Giannis playing. The performances they got from their guys only strengthens that argument, in my opinion. Now let's talk about some of the issues that this team was facing last season. Their backcourt defense was atrocious, to the point where on fantasy, if I saw that I had a player that was playing the Bucks this week and they were a guard, I'm picking that guard against the Bucks game to get my fantasy points, because that's how bad that backcourt defense was. It was Swiss cheese for every single guard in the league. If you walked into the Bucks arena and you're a guard, you should expect to have a night, because Damian Lillard's defense was chopped. Malik Beasley's defense was chopped. It was horrible. Absolutely terrible. For you to have a team that's predicated on defense mostly, this was a defensive team before Dame got there. For your defense to look so incredibly bad after only switching out Jrue Holiday for Dame was alarming to me, especially considering you have 2 defensive player of the year candidates in Giannis and Brook Lopez still on your roster and still playing great defense in the front court. So first and foremost, that's an issue that they needed to address heavily, because that's just unacceptable, especially for a team who, yes, you have Damian Lillard here to make your offense better. Your identity is still predicated around defense and being grit and grind. That's how you won your championship, and I think that's how you should have the rest of your team playing around Damian Lillard. You can't have a guy like Malik Beasley next to him, who's another small guard that's not going to play defense. It's just not going to work. And all this being said, they still won 49 games. So if you can tweak that little thing in your backcourt defense and make your backcourt defense just a little bit better, that can go really far for you. Also last year, I think Damian Lillard just struggled a lot. I don't think he had his best year at all. This was his 3rd least efficient shooting season, and I think that just says a lot. He had almost career lows in field goal and 3-point percentage. So if he could have just upped that a little bit, this changes things. Damian Lillard only averaged 24 points throughout the season. If we can get that to 26, 27 points, that can make a big difference. How much of a difference is 3 points really going to make on a night-to-night basis is how some people will look at that. But I really do think if you up 24 to 27, you're getting the 27 on good efficiency every night from Damian Lillard. It takes pressure off of the entire team. And that's the entire point of Dame being there, to stretch the floor, take pressure off Giannis, and for them to work off of each other. So if Damian Lillard's offense is not really working to its full extent, I don't think that this trade will end up being worth it. So hopefully going into next year, Damian Lillard can really get back in that mode, and I do think that he can do that going into the playoffs. Like I said, he went crazy in the playoffs while playing on one foot. His Achilles was popped. So I mean, hey, if he can do that in the playoffs, I think he can absolutely focus up and play better next regular season 100%. I think this duo is also learning how to mesh. They were very up and down during the season. I think their offense looked choppy at times. You have to build chemistry with guys. Giannis has never played with a guy at the caliber of Damian Lillard, or who has the ball in their hand as much as Damian Lillard, and vice versa for Dame. So these two absolutely have to learn how to not be heliocentric and learn how to play off of each other, and their skill sets are very good to do that. That pick and roll offense should be absolutely monstrous going into next season, and I really hope it is. I thought this duo would have enough power to rival the Boston Celtics, and I still do think that, if they can get everything to click. What are the next steps for this team? I honestly think the organization already started, and they're off to a really good start. They got Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince. They got Gary Trent Jr. on a really good deal, and both of these guys are going to provide defense. They're going to provide some shooting. These are two 40% three-point shooters. Gary Trent Jr. is going to give you much better on-ball scoring. He's also going to give you much better defense. Malik Beasley was a traffic cone, so still having a 40-point three-point shooter while having the better defense on Gary Trent Jr. is a great pickup. They also got Taurean Prince. He can play some point of attack defense. He's also a 40% three-point shooter. So those two pickups are absolutely great for this Bucks team, and I'm glad that they did that. I think they absolutely need another wing. Their bench is pretty weak. Like, off the bench, they have Bobby Portis, they have Taurean Prince, and they have like DeLon Wright. Hopefully a guy like Marjon Beauchamp can come up and get better this season, give you some more production. But honestly, in terms of the talent off the bench, they don't have a lot, which is scary, because if somebody gets hurt, then it's like, the next man up don't really work too well on this team. Honestly, I usually have a whole lot of critiques when I make these videos. I usually have a whole lot of trades, a whole lot of moves, a whole lot of issues. But honestly speaking, I think you guys just run it back. I think last year was... there's a lot of growing pains in terms of Giannis and Dame learning how to play together. Obviously in the playoffs, both of them got hurt, so I don't really even think there's much to worry about. You didn't get a full experience of this experiment. It's very possible that next year could be the same thing, considering Giannis's injury history has been getting worse and worse. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully Dame can stay healthy. Hopefully Dame gets back into form. And if everything clicks along with the additions that you made in this offseason, I think the Bucks can absolutely be a top team in the Eastern Conference. Still, even with the Knicks forming, even with the Philadelphia 76ers forming, and with the Celtics dominance, I still do think that this Bucks team could be a top team in the East. If you have any disagreements or changes that you think should be made to the Bucks roster, put it in the comment section down below. I'll catch y'all in the next one.